Hello there, Revan619 here. Incidentally, I understand the irony of uploading a don't trust the clickbait videos followed by a hate mail video, but this little engagement I had today was so funny that I thought I'd have to share it with you guys. So it starts off like a normal duels. This guy was pretty eager to get the game started, so he threw a throwing knife at me whilst I was buffing. Again, I have nothing wrong with someone coming at me when I'm buffing, but if they do it, they must be punished. So I decided that I wasn't going to go just blindly running at that guy, and I'd let him come to me. Show me what you've got. You want to attack me whilst I'm buffing, so you can bring this duel over. So I'm pretty much not doing anything, just seeing what he's going to do out here. He's swapped weapons a couple of times. He's tried Lothric Nightsword, and then he thought the Ultra Greatsword was his go-to choice. So backstabbed him, went for the R2, didn't quite work out, but I'm still just playing with this guy. I need to let him know that I wasn't happy about him throwing a knife at me whilst buffing. So again, letting him drive the duel, only reacting, being as boring as I can, and punishing him for it. So this was the first interaction. I gave him a little point down for it, but to even it out, I pressed F to pay respects. Second duel, he came running at me whilst I was buffing again, but because he had an Ultra Greatsword, it wasn't something he was actually punished me with. So I thought that I'd give him an actual duel this time and come to him. So he's got one-handed, so he can't break my hyper armor, and he tries to set up parry me, which just fails. I was actually quite amused by this, so I had to let him know by throwing out a parry and a collapse gesture. Third one, we weren't able to come straight at each other, but I decided that we would just have normal duel, and again, just a typical arena interaction. This guy's not exactly using any top tier stuff. Yes, he's parry fishing a little bit, but then again, I even tried it myself there. Mistimed it, and I like to think if he was closer I would have got that. Walked into 2 hits, so I'm pretty low. I was thinking I could try to cheese him and go for a dagger at this point, but nah, I'll just go at him. He unfortunately tries to cheese me with throwing knives, and it does not work out. The next one, again, we're back here. He's trying. He wants me. So again, I'm just keeping on him, giving him the sort of duel that he wants. You know, I'm not going to try hard. I'm using a terribly gimmickly setup. Like, I'm using a curved greatsword, but instead of using a good weapon like a straight sword in the offhand, I'm using a terrible weapon like the hand axe. So it evens it out. So at this point, I could tell that he was starting to get a bit salty, because he immediately swapped to rapier when he saw me and came straight at me, did a wake-up move that I couldn't move from, so I decided to punish it because he was going for that, for over 1,000 damage there. And I realised that he was just going to try and roll around me, so I very easily set up parry him. I mean, I could see this from miles away. But this is where today's interaction gets fun, because this is when I think the salt just got to him and it was a little bit too much. He sends me a beautiful piece of hate mail with spelling errors included. So when I see him again, I just realise I have to torture this man. We're at the point where a good clean duel, out of the question. He needs to be punished. So I come at him, start rolling around him, smacking him around with the axe. I'm not even giving him a chance to reactive roll. I'm keeping on him. I'm unlocking, I'm playing around, so I'm letting him know that I have absolute no respect for him after sending that hate mail. So again, he swaps over to his rapier, then he swaps over to his holy sword. So he's trying to cheese me. He really doesn't want to lose to me again. So I keep on it again. He goes for again with the holy sword, but it's a simple block. And then he tries to use a weapon and gets himself backstabbed. And after that hate mail, I have to let him know exactly what I think of him. But yeah, you could feel it. This man was not happy. The second he sees me, he swaps over to a straight sword, just comes running at me whilst I'm still trying to get my blue off. So he wants me. He wants this. He's had enough of losing. But I set him up with a jump attack trade. Give him a little kick when he tries to keep on me. Go to try and catch his panic rolls, but I miss it because my weapon's a little slow. Coming back in on him, he's trying some little tricks, rolling around me again. Tried to parry him like I did before. Unfortunately, straight sword was just a little bit too fast. Not as quite as easy to parry as rapier. He's trying the weapon up. So decided to slow the things down, because obviously now what he's doing is just reacting and punishing me. So I swap over to the axe. He thinks I'm going for the axe. I go over the nice slow roll catch with the curved greatsword. And we give him another F for respects. So by now he's completely lost it. He just charges straight at me at the start of each duel. So he comes at me with the weapon up whilst I'm buffing. So I decide I'm going to have to play with him some more, because he's trying to attack me whilst I'm buffing again. So he's just overflowing with salt here. So I'm just walking away all nice and slowly, reactive avoiding everything he throws at me, just to wind him up as the health that he chipped off me from the buff slowly restores to me. So for some reason he thinks that his rushdown weapon is going to be the Ultra Greatsword, so he comes at me with another one of those. I can see that he probably wants to try and set up parry me again, which is why he's going for those R2s. Running attack, not giving him anything for it. Tried to backstab him, but unfortunately the connection was a little too good for that. But again, with a nice hit and a couple of axe shots just to punish him. And again, I'm having to mock him a little bit just so he knows that I don't respect him up from the way he's been playing with trying to cheese me, trying to attack me whilst buffing, and of course sending the good old salt nail. So again, just walking around his attacks like they're nothing. This guy is too predictable. He just comes in a straight line. Even when he swaps to straight swords, it's just... everything he does is just too predictable and too easy to counteract. So then he thinks that this is going to be the time to get me. His go-to swap is going to be the breakdance sword, because as everyone knows, that thing is probably unstoppable. So I swap over to a straight sword, but mostly because I need something with a quick backstab animation, and I didn't have a regular dagger on me. Also, there's a menu who managed to hit me with a lot of weapon art, so nice little bit of chip damage there. But the reason I'm two-handing this is so I can block, because when you block, you can backstab the first L1 incredibly easily. Wait for him to go to get up, do the weapon art catch, and then absolutely pwn him. Just seconds flat like that. Let him know. Still pressing F to pay respects for his sad, sad deaths. But you can feel it. This time he swaps over to the Onikiri and Ubadachi. Starts coming at me again. He's getting a little bit more aggressive as well. He wants this win. He's coming out of rolling attacks. I probably should be trying to set up parry him. But again, you have to be aware that what he wants is that. And unfortunately he manages to catch me with it twice, because for some reason it just all chained into one giant true combo. So I decide that, again, I'm going to punish this man, but this time I'm going to really punish him. So I put on the red tearstone ring and the murky, because again, he tries to cheese me. So I whop out the harp and I bully dagger him to death. And again, for trying to cheese me once again with the holy sword, just let him know what I think about him. And this was the final interaction of the day, and I think it was after this point he gave up, because after that last duel he think, maybe I could have taken him. I stood a chance. He just put out a dagger and cheesed me at the end like I've been trying to cheese him all game. I can really take him. Onikiri and Ubadachi, that's my setup. This is going to be the win. Unfortunately, having played him enough, knowing how insanely predictable he is, I just go weapon art straight into his weapon art. And that's it. That's it done. GG. Thanks for the salt mail. Thanks for the fun little video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me torture this guy in the arena.